Hey everybody, it's Troy. Hey, listen, Nikki Haley went on CNN to do a town hall and once again proved that there are no moderate Republicans. There are no good Republicans. There is no good Republican option. Nikki Haley is not the sane one. She is just as bad as Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis in terms of her policy positions. Some of the things she said in this town hall were absolutely horrifying, starting with this one where she basically called for more guns in schools in a nation where gun deaths is the biggest killer of children. Check this out.
The reason a lot of these happen, and you mentioned a shooting at the schools, you need to end gun-free zones. Gun-free zones. When you look at killers, always look for a place that's a gun-free zone because guess what? Nobody else is going to be able to protect themselves.
Some states have been experimenting with red flag laws, which enables law enforcement and the courts to temporarily either remove guns or block people from being able to purchase guns, individuals who have been adjudicated in some way from posing a threat to themselves or others. Is that something that you might support?
No, I don't trust government to deal with red flag laws. I don't trust that they won't take them away from people who rightfully deserve to have them because you've got someone else judging whether someone should have a gun or not.
There are more guns than people in the United States of America, and yet we have the highest gun death murder rate of any developed nation. If more guns were the answer, we should be the safest nation for gun violence. If more guns equaled gun safety, we would be one of the safest nations on earth. But we're not. We're one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous, developed nation on earth when it comes to gun violence. So no, the answer is not more guns, especially not more guns in schools. School shooters do not intentionally choose schools because they're gun-free zones, as if they're just cruising the streets looking for something to shoot up. They very intentionally choose their targets. Then she went on to blame teen suicide on trans youth, on trans people, saying that it's trans girls who make cis girls want to commit suicide.
Biological boys playing in girls' sports. That's one thing. The fact that we have gender pronoun classes in the military now. I mean, all of these things that are pushing what a small minority want on the majority of Americans, it's too much. It's too much. I mean, the idea that we have biological boys playing in girls' sports, it is the women's issue of our time. My daughter ran track in high school. I don't even know how I would have that conversation with her. How are we supposed to get our girls used to the fact that biological boys are in their locker rooms? And then we wonder why a third of our teenage girls seriously contemplated suicide last year?
What a genuinely terrifying and disgusting take coming at a time when anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ rhetoric is at an all-time high. Not only anti-LGBTQ, but almost genocidal in its tone. Many on the far right calling for an end to trans in the United States, cracking down on LGBTQ rights, cracking down on LGBTQ right to exist in this country. And Nikki Haley blaming teen suicide on the fact that trans youth exist. In fact, young people are the most accepting generation of trans individuals in this country. The younger generations are the most accepting of LGBTQ individuals in this country. So where she's getting this, I have absolutely no idea. But this is a horrifying take from Nikki Haley, and signals that she is right in line with the genocidal language that's coming out of the far right in this country, coming from MAGA supporters. She's no different than any other far-right fascist MAGA. Maxwell Frost, the first and only Gen Z member of Congress, actually responded to this statement about teen suicide. He said, and I quote, "Maybe it's because they see fascists taking away their rights every day, the existential climate crisis, the crushing student debt many will take on, and seeing kids get mowed down in their schools." Gen Z's apt response to this ridiculous claim that trans individuals cause teens to commit suicide. On the topic of abortion and reproductive freedom in this country, she did take a rather bold stance.
All come together and say any woman that has an abortion shouldn't be jailed or given the death penalty. Can't we start there?
So Nikki Haley thinks of herself as a moderate because she can genuinely get behind the idea that we shouldn't be executing women who have abortions. That's really where we're at with the Republican Party. That's the state of the Republican Party, is that the moderate candidate doesn't support the death penalty for reproductive freedom, for reproductive health care. Then she was super vague about what exactly it is her stance on abortion rights in this country. Check this out.
The 6-week ban theoretically came to your desk. Would you sign it?
But why? I will answer that when you ask Kamala and Biden if they would agree to 37 weeks, 38 weeks, 39 weeks. Then I'll answer your question.
She's going to hold back her official stance on a 6-week abortion ban until Joe Biden and Kamala Harris state their stance on abortion at 38 and 39 weeks. Well, we already had a established legal precedent about abortion at 38 and 39 weeks as part of Roe versus Wade. It was illegal. Abortion that late in a pregnancy was illegal unless it was to save the life of the mother. In just about every single state, you could not have an abortion that late unless it was in case of emergency. That was settled law. That was in Roe versus Wade. We've taken that away now, but it's not a stretch to say that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris probably supported that aspect of Roe versus Wade as established law in almost every state in the union. Because no one, despite what Donald Trump and the far-right MAGA fascists are saying, no one in the Democratic Party, no one in this country supports elected abortions at 39, 40 weeks. That's completely ridiculous. Abortion at 40 weeks is called childbirth. There's no need to abort a fetus at 40 weeks. That's completely ridiculous. It's part of this ongoing conspiracy spread by Donald Trump and others that Democrats are just trying to kill babies. It's absolutely not true. The only reason anyone has an abortion that late is because of medical necessity. She went on to say that she felt that Ron DeSantis' homophobic fascist don't say gay law didn't go far enough. And in fact, she would outright ban sex education in this country as we know it. Take a listen.
All started with the Don't Say Gay bill, right? And it basically said you couldn't talk about gender to any child before the 3rd grade. I have been on record saying I don't think that went far enough. They should not be talking to our kids about gender, period. That's what parents talk to their kids about, not in school.
Here's Haley on Social Security and Medicare, where she basically promises that she's going to end them, destroy them, which has become the not-so-secret promise, the not-so-secret platform of the Republican Party.
Is it even a viable option? And what would you say about the leadership of those two individuals if they say they're not going to do anything?
I think it's important to be honest with the American people. We are in this situation. Don't lie to them and say, oh, we don't have to deal with entitlement reform. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's the reality. I'm always going to tell the truth. Is it going to hurt? Yes, but for our kids, they know they're not going to get it anyway. So why not go ahead and change it for them in their 20s? Why not go and put people that are in their 60s and 70s and 80s at peace so that they know, look, you're not going to have to worry about it. But yes, we're going to go to our 20s and we're going to go tell them times have changed. I think they're not being honest with the American people.
And finally, she went on to discuss the Mother Emanuel Church massacre in Charleston while she was governor, in which 9 African Americans were killed by a right-wing white supremacist. But she blamed the media for making the murder of African Americans at the hands of a white supremacist about race.
We had that horrific shooting in Charleston that killed 9 amazing souls. And it happened at a time where it was on the heels of Ferguson. And I was so worried our state was going to fall apart. And the national media came in and they wanted to make it about race. They wanted to make it about the death penalty. They wanted to make it about guns. And I strong-armed them at the time. And I said, there will be a time and place we can have those debates. But right now we need to put to rest 9 amazing souls. And I tried to protect them.
Yes, according to Nikki Haley, we shouldn't be discussing white supremacist violence as the most serious domestic terror threat in the United States. And the media discussing it as such is just bringing up race and injecting race into the conversation. No, white supremacist terrorist violence is a serious problem in this country, and it's directed at people of color. But after the murder of 9 African Americans in her state at the hands of a white supremacist, she doesn't feel like it's appropriate to bring race into the conversation. Nikki Haley, not a moderate, not the sane choice, not a good Republican, not a Republican that everyday people could get behind. She's just another MAGA extremist, far-right fascist candidate within the Republican Party. The Republican Party has no sane candidates. They have no moderate candidates. Nikki Haley is just another version of Ron DeSantis and Donald Trump. Nikki Haley just putting a different face on the same vile, disgusting MAGA movement that Trump is the leader of. Just another Trump MAGA acolyte running for president, trying to pretend like she's a moderate, trying to pretend like she aligns with American values when she clearly does not. She's a far-right fascist, just like the rest of the Republican presidential field. For MeidasTouch, this is Troy. Remember, smash that subscribe button to keep supporting independent media.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.